Jammers. Welcome to another great episode of your favorite podcast, Jam Sessions. My co-host, as always, Darcy Walsh. Welcome.
Hello.
A big shout out to our other production team member this evening, Mr. Bobby Fraser, home from Ontario. There's his hand, everybody. You'll have to trust me. It's not just a hand; it's a whole person. Gonna run the cameraman tonight. That's right. We've got some pretty fucking cool guests. They just arrived all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Why don't you give maybe the audience a little introduction, and then we'll let the guests introduce themselves, perhaps, yeah?
Absolutely. So we have Like a Motorcycle sitting on the couch here today.
Holy moly.
Kim Carson and KT
Lamond.
Lamond?
Lamond sounds fancier.
I heard it pronounced differently on your rock and roll roundup, and I got confused.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably Michelle. She doesn't know my own name.
Fair enough.
You can call me whatever.
So yeah, Jeph and I were thinking maybe instead of you guys starting off telling about yourselves, do a little quick intro of each other.
Oh.
And then maybe we'll get into a little bit of history.
Finally, my time to shine.
Oh my goodness.
My time to tell the truth.
Okay. I'm just gonna talk like I'm you.
Okay.
My name
Oh, that's even better. I like the way
is
she thinks.
Kimberly Carson, except it's not. My name is Kimberly Highland, but I go by
Oh, this is
Kimberly
awful.
Carson. I am from Smiths Falls, Ontario. I grew up in a religious cult called the Brethren and spent all of my childhood in the back of the car spreading the Lord of the Word across North America with my family.
The word of the Lord, but it's close.
Yeah.
This is
I
all
am
real.
still incredibly religious to this day. I am Kim.
That last part isn't true, just for the record.
But the
Everything
rest
else
of it
is true.
The rest
Yeah.
of it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a fucking shocker. Man, I
Yeah,
thought
we took a hard
Yeah.
turn.
I love it.
I left my bonnet behind, and here I am.
Yeah, your
Oh.
denim skirt.
Yeah.
I've never
Okay.
got to see the denim skirt.
There's
but-
a whole line of questioning.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So, hello, KT.
Hi, my name is KT of LaM. I'm from North Sydney, and I grew up skateboarding and playing guitar, and I just wanted to play music and go on the road and be with my friends. I started touring with a band called the Tom Fun Orchestra when I was
deep
a
dive.
teenager and taking pictures. And when I moved to Halifax, I met some cool people. I met this really cool person named Kim Carson, and I just started this beautiful friendship with them. And eventually I joined Like a Motorcycle, and here we are.
It's been all downhill
Many
from there.
years later.
Wow.
Awesome.
And all true stories. So, I've got to get into some questions,
Yeah,
Kim.
Kim's got some
You
exciting
really
stuff.
opened the box.
Yeah.
You know, we need content.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe we should start with Kim and start to get into where she came from. Then
That's
Like a
what I'm-
Motorcycle, then
where did you
flip
come
back
from?
over.
Sure.
What the fuck happened? Because Like a Motorcycle is not spreading the word
gospel,
of God. Right?
So close.
I wouldn't equate the two. So
Right. Well,
what
I'm a bit
the
of an
fuck happened?
extremist, it appears.
Good. Those are the best kinds of people.
No, I mean, I don't really know what happened. I was a gay, confused teenager living in a very religious household. My father was a missionary
Right.
and an asshole, and he basically put us in the back of a minivan and drove us all over Hell's Creation, and it was the worst. And then I thought, I never want to sit in the back of a van and drive anywhere ever again in my
So I
life.
Made a band.
Yeah, and then it turns out I couldn't help myself. Something was burned into my soul where I just had to watch trees go by for not only the first part of my life, but for the rest of my life.
Right. So it sounds like a pretty shitty time that whole time.
It was a shitty time.
So
yeah.
I want to ask, are there any bright moments from it, or things that you kind of look back on and go like, well,
Yeah, besides my immediate family, to be fair, my dad is dead, and it's really opened up a relationship with my mother that I never had before. So God bless her; she's doing the best she can under the circumstances. But at the time, I haven't been close with my mother or father in many years. But I was lucky enough to have really amazing aunts and uncles.
Cool.
My mom had 2 gay sisters. And that was really lucky for me because I was able to come out here
Right.
where one of them lived and be close to Newfoundland where the rest of my mom family is from. And yeah, had a really good support system.
Safety net
in that
for
way.
sure, right?
Yeah, which was really lucky. Once they let me hang out with them,
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you stop carrying that Bible around
Yeah,
everywhere?
exactly. Thumping people on the heads.
Would the music bug have entered your system before or after that? Like, would have been...
Definitely during. I wasn't really allowed to listen to secular music. So that's all I wanted to do. Just ride my bike to the mall and, buy the Who's greatest hits on cassette tape and then sit in my room with my Walkman and just listen to it. That's all my pop bought me a guitar and that was it. I just wanted to write songs and get all my feelings out,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I did. But as a 12-year-old, I just sat in my room with my guitar and just cried to nobody. No one wanted to hear it.
Cried to your guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
My guitar gently wept for many years.
What was do you remember the first punk song that you heard that kind of made you go, whoa?
I don't remember the first punk song I heard, but I'll tell you this. My mom definitely loved music and obviously stopped listening to it when she married my dad. She had a cassette tape that she had taped over. She taped hymns over it, but at the end of one side, the hymn wasn't quite long enough, and Money, Money, Money by ABBA would come on, and there would be about 20 seconds of that song, and I would be driving around with my mom in the car and just wait for that 20 seconds of pure bliss, to happen. And I was just as soon as I could drive my bike to the mall, I went and bought ABBA Arrival on CD so I could finally hear the whole song,
Awesome.
Wow.
I only got the fade out.
Yeah.
So, KT, let's give you an opportunity to kind of have that same space here. Where do you come from? Who kind of inspired you? Who got you to this fucking badass punk that we see here today?
Different type of broken home, but yeah, optically middle class family. My parents are pieces of shit, and they...
You can see a theme.
Yeah. They ran a foster home for a long time before it was shut down for reasons I won't get into.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would just kind of shuffle it off to the basement, beg them for a little 200 jobby Les Paul guitar, and that's where I spent all of my years. But I also had a really cool uncle, Uncle Joe Tuddy. Shout out to him. Retired Coast Guard officer at this point, but he just I was probably 10 and he just put a Jane's Addiction CD in my hand. He was good luck, fucker. I was okay, off I go.
Wicked.
But yeah, I just kind of never played music. I started my first band after I graduated from university. So I was 22 or 23 when I started Milk Mustache. But yeah, I literally never played tunes. It was just a behind closed doors type thing that just kind of got me through my youth. Obviously was quite obsessed with the Distillers from a young age.
Who isn't? Who wasn't, right?
And lots of ladder shit. And yeah, I just was kind of a coping mechanism, I guess. And then finally, after touring around with other bands, doing photo and just merch and, drinking in the van type stuff for probably 6 years, I just decided I needed to figure out how to do that on my own. And found you guys. I was opening an all-ages show and was opening for a band of shirtless women, and it was like a motorcycle, and within a year I was shirtless women as well. And that's it.
Sounds like a fucking party, guys. Jeez.
Yeah. It was a party. That
But
show
yeah,
was
both
a party.
fucking young gay kids
Yeah.
kicked out of our houses, just fucking, somehow managed to pull it together.
Yeah.
Even though I should definitely be doing other things somewhere else.
But you guys really have. I mean, you guys have taken the business part of a band, you know, as, I don't want to say comedic, but some of your themes are very fucking funny.
Thank you.
You know, and you guys have really seriously taken this hilarious band to levels that did you guys expect?
I mean, I hoped for it, I
Right.
guess. Like, I think when we started the band, it's like I had a pretty clear vision of what I wanted to do as far as, like, the level I wanted to achieve. I think I think for me, some of my favorite bands were in the scene, and I became, like, pretty frustrated with, like, kind of where they capped themselves out as far as, you know, not success, I use that word lightly, but just
It's
as far as, like,
it's so
reaching
subjective, that
and
word.
touring, and I just kind of thought, I want this band to tour. I want us to, like, be in real studios, make real albums, like, have those experiences, just, you know, just a bit above, like, that garage level that a lot of people kind of plateau at. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think for me personally, just wanted to see a
Have
little
more.
bit more, like, travel and have some of the pressure taken off as well. Like, you know, we do pretty much everything ourselves. We did right from the start, and it's a lot of work, you know, and having a little bit of a team for me was a big goal. And, you know, we've been lucky enough to have different incarnations of that, and you know, generally be in a pretty good place with that. And that, for me, that was kind of the goal. Just, like, have a little bit of help, and just not be plugging away at the same thing over and over and over again. Like, getting just, even if it's a little bit farther, even if it's going to one new city, you know, that's success to me.
More, it's always more.
Exactly,
Even if it's incremental, it's always going to be more.
Yeah,
right?
Totally, yeah.
So, did you have any other bands that you were in yourself before, like a motorcycle?
I was in a band called Hot Yoga.
Okay.
It was me and a couple friends. And that was kind of so that was the first time I played bass. I had not really played bass. I'd kind of just played guitar, but, like, in a songwriting capacity.
Yeah.
And, my friend was literally cleaning out her closet, and she lived upstairs from me, and she was like, "Do you want this bass guitar?" She gave me this PV bass guitar. And
Fewer strings.
that was it. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
well, this seems better. Yeah.
Are you still playing the same PV?
No, it lasted maybe, like, 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and it crapped out. But yeah, I had that band, and I kind of learned to play bass. I learned a lot about, like, kind of where I wanted to be creatively, and I kind of decided that maybe wasn't what the sound. I wanted to do something a little more, like, this band was like, you think, like, motorcycles funny. This band was like funny. You know what I mean? It was like a little too much of a joke for me. I wanted to, you know, have more of, like, a rock band, and, you know,
Right.
just take it a little bit more seriously.
And yourself? Did you think that you guys would get here? Is it kind of something that you saw in LaM that you wanted to kind of be like, you know what, I could be a big asset to these guys? How did you approach the band, or how did they approach you, maybe, I guess?
I was just kind of hanging around. Like, we would, my old band, Milk Mustache, which, you know, don't go look it up. I couldn't play or sing
I
or
already
anything.
did.
Oh, God, okay.
I won't put it in the show notes.
But, yeah, we, you know, we'd open for LaM sometimes, and then, honestly, I ended up joining the band because Jill, who ended up leaving because she didn't like touring and stuff like that, but she was kind of reaching that point when I was just kind of hanging around. And then the idea initially was that I'd get shuffled in and I'd kind of, like, play away shows and things like that. And then we just started jamming as a 4-piece, and it sounded great. And then that's how it continued for a while until, you know, we started taking, like, bigger tours across seas and stuff. And Jill was like, I don't want to be flying. I don't want to be in another place where I'm uncomfortable. And it's like, you know, those are the things that we really want to do, and
Right.
it just didn't jive for Jill.
Discomfort.
Yeah,
Right.
which is totally fair. Like, being on the road is, I've heard, is not easy for a lot of people. But But, you know, I feel like when you're kind of transient kids like Kim and I were, you know, I was...
Oh, it would
It's a
absolutely make a
comfort.
huge difference.
Yeah, it's like I've enjoyed not knowing what's going to happen, sleeping
Yeah.
out of a bag, because I've never known what's going to happen. But I feel like for a
Absolutely.
lot of people, those, like, you know, comfort foods, so to speak, not being around all the time can be difficult.
And so when you were hanging around, you were helping sell merch and stuff like that?
I was taking
like,
photos, like, for these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was,
Yeah.
like, doing their photos.
And
And,
so
like,
Yeah.
before that, were you doing that for anybody else? Like
yeah, I
everybody
was
else?
touring around with a band called the Tom Fun Orchestra, which is a band from Cape Breton. They don't play a ton anymore, but they were kind of like my first experience in like touring across the country and like going on bigger tours, things like that. And yeah, they just kind of scooped me up at a skate shop when I was like a homeless teenager in
Oh,
Cape
okay.
Breton, and I had a camera, so I started going with them. And then yeah, one of those guys like kind of had an accident many years into us touring, and their touring careers kind of slowed down.
Sure.
And then I just kind of started playing my own tunes and played in like, you know, an onslaught of different random punk bands around the
Mhm.
city, like Sick Children and Cringeworthy. And yeah, I just eventually joined LaM, and it's kind of become my main everything in my life.
Awesome.
Especially, it's also like, you know, I went to school for photography, but it's like I am literally, my career is in graphic design and web design now, and like those are all just things that I have learned because we didn't have the money to hire anyone else to do
Sure,
it.
sure, yeah. And I did,
Fabulous.
when I was
Yeah.
looking around, I was on your KT Media site. And
Yeah,
saw
it's,
it.
I haven't updated my own website in
Oh,
probably
yeah.
4 years now.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know what? The
That's
mechanic
what
hasn't
happens.
fixed his muffler
Yeah,
yet
no,
either, dude.
exactly. Yeah.
And
It's
the
probably
old
time for a
information was what I
rebranding.
was looking for anyway, so
Yeah.
it's perfect for me. So was that something that you started up back then? Like that was going to be your career?
I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, right before I joined this band, I had applied to a bunch of different, like, teaching agencies in Taiwan. Like, I was
Okay.
ready to just
You're
bounce.
ready
I was
to
like,
roll
you know
out.
what? Fuck all this. And then
Yeah.
when, like, the option kind of came up to play music with people I enjoyed, I was like, I'm going to give this one more kick at the can.
Well, glad you did.
We've just been
Yeah,
kind of
no
touring
kidding,
around
dude.
since. And, like, the whole... Yeah, I know that this sounds maybe ridiculous, but I feel like the entire reason I play music is to be able to travel as someone who like couldn't
Yeah.
afford it otherwise. And
Huh.
you know, not to say that I don't enjoy playing music and being on the road, but it just seems it has proven for us and for the
Mhm.
other band I play in, Dearly Beloved, that's like kind of split between Toronto and Halifax and LA. It's just like I would never be able to afford to tour or have any of these
Yeah.
experiences. I'm fucking white trash from Cape Breton. Like, when would I be just hanging out in Spain
Damn,
for
dude.
2 weeks? You know, like
So
yeah.
just because you mentioned it, I was going to ask you later, but you mentioned Dearly Beloved.
Yeah.
So the LSD video
Yeah.
has the entire like motorcycle band in it, does it? Or
Does it?
like that's what I'm asking.
Oh,
No,
so
no.
so I started touring with Dearly Beloved in 2018, and it was just like pretty raw. It was just one
Mhm.
guitar, and then they're like, "We're thinking about like getting another guitar player to even out." And I was like, "Hire Dave." Like,
Well, that's okay.
let's
So
bring
Dave's
Dave.
in it. I knew
Yeah,
Dave was in,
so-
you were in it. I wasn't sure if the rest of you guys were
Yeah,
in it.
No,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
Dave and I. But you know, I can't imagine I'll be able to slide Kim in there. The main person
That's
is their bass
alright.
player, but you
Yeah.
know. If
I don't
if
think I
Rob
can
ever just
replace
wants
Rob.
to, no, Rob is
Geddy
dead.
Lee's nephew.
Yeah, Rob's
I
Geddy
think
Lee's
I'll
nephew,
step
so he's like an
back.
absolute monster on the bass, and
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I mean, we'll get you in there somehow.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
I'll sell
have-
the merch.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
since done
Yeah.
stuff together because I noted too. Caribou Run, you both did stuff with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Kim,
did a collab.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kim and I work as a little art house sometimes.
So
Yeah.
is
Yeah, we're a
that
good
something
team
that's on
and-
its own, and you guys just happen to be involved in a project with them, or is it?
No,
this is
that's just a band that you know needed artwork, and Kim does really amazing collages. I mean, you
Cool.
can drop her link in there. She does a lot of really ridiculous like pop culture collages, but they kind of told me what they were looking for and sent me a few like references. And I was just like, oh, this is so up the alley of like Kim's weird collages.
Cool.
And then we kind of pulled each other in the mix. We didn't make a ton of money between the two of us because you got to split it up. But you
Yeah.
know,
We don't make a ton of money.
we don't make a
lot the
ton of money
time.
ever.
Guy,
Yeah.
nobody gets into music to make money, I don't
No,
think.
but
you know?
yeah, we
Just
collaborate on a
sometimes
lot of
it's
stuff.
Yeah.
perk.
we're a good team when it comes to like doing stuff like that and just like, you know, I
Running
like
the
to
band.
help. Yeah, I like to help Katie out with like photo shoots and stuff, and just kind of we both went to school for photography, so
Yeah.
we're good.
Cool.
We're like, but we bounce ideas off of each
So-
other for everything, you know.
Yeah.
Shutterbug to shutterbug to shutterbug.
Yeah.
What's your favorite camera? Like for stills, like if you, like what's your shooter?
It's a good question.
Kim's the one with the camera collection.
Right now, don't hate me because I'm not really a shutterbug, I guess. Right now, I'm shooting on this Olympus Infinity. It's a point and shoot film camera that I found at Frenchie's 2 years ago for $2, and it has been my favorite camera. It like everything that I've shot on it looks like so cool and so amazing, and it's just a really nice point and shoot. I'm at that point in my life where I just want to point and shoot, you know,
Right.
like. Sue me.
Kim's got like every Polaroid camera that exists. And,
In relation to digital stuff, do you guys
Yeah.
do you have digital cameras
That's
or
more Katie's wheelhouse
Okay.
at
yeah.
this point.
I started shooting with like mirrorless cameras a few years ago. So like
do
I
you
think.
miss the click?
Pardon?
Do you miss the click of the mirror?
No, it's actually okay. I'm pretty anxious. I like when people can't hear me taking photos. But yeah,
Ninja.
I ended up buying into like the Fuji X Pro series. So I have an X Pro 1. It is now broken.
Oh.
But I think I'm going to replace it with like the XT100 or something like that. But yeah, I basically like I am the opposite of a gearhead. All of my guitars are SGs. I find something I like, and like I just really like the idea of having like a digital like rangefinder camera, and something that also like, you know, because I'm so fucking wildly anxious when we're on tour, like I hate just having like an SLR slung around my shoulder. So I'm like, this looks like a toy camera, despite the fact that, you know, I paid like fucking $2,000 for it or something. But I just like having something that like I'm not really worried about. But then my crazy mind switched on me, and it's like my treasure. It's broken right now. And yeah, I'm shooting on like some weird fucking Canon Rebel that I borrowed from a friend, but I'm not a gear guy. I'm just like, do I like how this looks? Do I like how this sounds? Let's go
Katie's
for
also
it.
the master of post. Like,
I'm a really big Photoshop nerd.
yeah, so it's
yeah.
like
Post-production.
just you get it and then we'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
Is a lot.
Almost all of our photo shoots, also because I'm the photographer and I'm in the band, are composites. So like,
Oh, okay.
I'm really into like post-production shit, but not like overdoing it. Just it's more assembly
Right.
than anything. Yeah.
Polishing, not buffing.
Yeah.
Totally.
I dig it. I dig it for sure. So I want to take it back for just a second here, because you did just mention that you were highly anxious while you guys are on tour, because a lot of the people that are listening, like the world, is
Especially
such an
now,
anxious-
everyone's really joined me in
such
the
an
anxious
place,
town.
right? How are you guys coping on the road with those higher levels of anxiety and pressures from everybody else to perform, be on time, and things like that?
I mean, for me at least, which is something I've obviously been unpacking quite a bit in therapy and otherwise the last year and a half. But, you know, I don't feel the anxiety that I feel in my day to day when I'm on the road, and I don't really know how to unpack that. It's
Is
like
it your comfort zone? Like
I don't know what it is. It's like it seems like it would make more sense. Hi, kitty.
That's Ginger.
Hi,
call her
Ginger.
Ninja.
Oh,
my
you're
goodness.
so sweet. This is helping my anxiety.
Yeah.
I need a little animal. But yeah, I feel as though it's kind of counterintuitive. It's like I should be able to walk around my own city where I have lived since 2007. So
Wow.
for 14 years and not be like anxious every time I pass like a shop window or a restaurant where people that probably like me will see me, but then the anonymity of being anywhere on the road, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the fact that like, you know, you don't have a hole to crawl back to when you're on the road. It's just like you're displaced no matter what.
Yeah.
But I find it so bizarre because like the road causes a lot of people anxiety, but for me, I'm just like, oh, everyone's displaced. Join me. Let's go, bitches. And then like I don't know, I'm really not that anxious on the road. I enter restaurants like I belong there. I'm not constantly paranoid all the time. I don't know what it is. I'm
maybe
working through it.
You're, in air quotes, growing up, maturing, becoming more confident and knowing who you are, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that, but I wish it was that, and I appreciate the suggestion that it might be
That's a nice
that.
thing to say.
Maybe some inner strength?
Yeah,
You don't know that
I
it's
hope that
there?
I do get there, but I don't know. I think it's just something about, I think it's and unpack this how you will, but I think it's literally something about the fact that like when we're away, no one gives a shit who you are, or yeah, and it's just like I'm just fucking free to be a goof, and no one gives a shit, and you know, whereas I feel like, especially like living in a small city like Halifax, and especially if you're someone who's constantly very concerned with how people are perceiving you, and I mean not in like an egotistical way, in like a, you know, am I doing right by everyone? Am I representing people properly? Am I X, Y, and Z? I feel like there's a lot. Anonymity is probably my friend.
Right, yeah. And yourself?
Kim calms me down.
Ask first, are you an anxious person?
I don't. Not in the same way that Katie is, for sure. I think I'm someone who is very OCD in a lot of particular ways, which can be good and bad. I think for me, what I like about being on the road is that, you know, there's some structure to it. Like, I think for me too. I think the structure is it's like sound check is at 7.
Here's when you're eating dinner. Here's when you're using the bathroom.
Totally. Like, here's your catered meal, you know, at 6 o'clock. You have sound check at 7. And I like going on tours where it's like, all you have to do is get to that next venue. You know, nice. You have to get up, you get in the van. If you can get to that next place, everything will fall and you can be on time. And we're on time. I am punctual.
We're early. I'm anxious.
We are punctual. We're not like, you know what I mean? We're not freaking out. We're not.
You're goddamn professional.
Yeah. So it's like, I like that structure, and I like living out of a bag, because all I have to keep organized is my backpack of stuff and then my gear, you know. When I'm at home, it's like I had to do the dishes and I'll keep my office clean and I'll vacuum the floor.
Kim and I both have plant problems. We've got about 80 to 100 plants each, so
I feel very
lots
anxious
to do
at home with like a lot of these things that I think for a lot of people that doesn't stress them out. But like when I get up in the morning, before I can get anything done, I have to like sweep my floor. Like I'm just so incredibly anal for the stupidest reasons, and when I'm on the road, all I have to worry about is myself and like my little bag of stuff and just getting to the next place. And I really like that. It really frees my mind up to be a better version of myself, I think.
Sounds to me like the kernel of it is that the advice is to wake up and have high hopes.
Yes.
We love a segue.
So let's give our audience a little bit of a listen, shall we? To you know, for those of you that don't know who Like a Motorcycle is, whoa. Let me call a landscaper to get that rock that you've been living under removed. And let's give you guys a little bit of a listen from Like a Motorcycle's 2016 effort, High Hopes. This one is track 4. It's available, by the way, everywhere, but also on our favorite website. What's that one?
Bandcamp?
Yeah, because you can pay whatever the fuck you want. You know, I recommend always paying more than what the artist is asking, because it's the right thing to do. Let's listen to a little High Hopes with our guests here this week on Jam Sessions, Like a Motorcycle. Kim, Katie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All drugged up and no place to go.